Yes, yes, sir.
Om Ajnanatamidandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karunmayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutpada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sarvana Raghunatham Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Tarijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Dev Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sarvana Lalita Shri Vishatma Vidranscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Panchakalpataruvescha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Paditana Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauravaita Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So thank you so much, dear devotees, for giving me a chance to glorify the holy name. Honestly, I was thinking that this is a forum in which many great esteemed personalities have come before me. So, and you're already chanting from 4:30 a.m. till now. So I think you're already well versed with the importance of chanting. That's why you have come together. And in Kali Yuga, people come to chant together, that there's nothing more pleasing to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu than people coming together, whether they come online, offline. That's a different issue, but just coming together every day and having this austerity you all are doing would be pleasing the Lord so much. So I thought I will not speak so much about the importance of holy name because you already seem already quite committed to the holy name. I'll just share with you over a period of time some realizations I've had in terms of how my own japa can be improved. So I have, of course, in ISKCON, you get to hear so many great personalities like Vision Wisdom, Raj. So many great personalities who speak about how to improve one's japa. So I'm just going to share with you something that I've over a period of time implemented in my own life, which may be helpful for some of the devotees here. So, one of the things I've realized, especially influenced by the good teachings of His Holiness Janardhan Maharaj, is that there are different levels of improving one's japa. So, and the first level, as Maharaj very rightly puts it, is preparing the body. So, preparing the body is something that I've personally seen in my life having such a huge consequential impact on the quality of my japa. So, preparing the body, what does it mean? Basically, the body that we usually start chanting in the morning, which means we've already gone through several hours of association with mode of ignorance. And the body is unclean. There is all kind of fluids coming out of various holes of the body. And the consciousness is also gone down. And one has to rise up, uplifts one consciousness in the morning. So that's what starts with, we have to start purifying the body, because if the body is not purified, we'll not be able to chant the holy name properly. So one of the things I have realized in this aspect, so Maharaj puts it in a very nice way, that just like when you enter into a temple, you see there are three gates that you have to cross through. There's a gate outside that you cross through. There's a gate the temple hall that you cross through, on which you knock and you enter inside. And then there is a gate that is the gate of the altar. So similarly, the first gate is the gate of the body, we we start preparing ourselves to the further gates that we have to open up naturally. So preparing body is some of the practices that have really transformed my level of japa. First and foremost is just being very close to Brahma as much as possible. So I've personally seen that the farther I go away from Brahmurta in terms of my chanting, the more difficult it is to chant the way we want to chant. So Brahmurta is a very, very special time, and it's the time of Ojas. So the Sanskrit word called Ojas, which is the healing energy. So our Ayurveda tells that this is a time where entire body is nourished. Even if you just breathe the air at that time between the Brahmurta, the entire body tissues are nourished, brain is nourished, everything is nourished. So that's why in Vedic times, these singers who would sing, they would practice in Brahmurta. That's the time they would use to sing an instrument. And for devotees, that's the time to come close to Krishna. So one of the things that is very important preparing the body is to make, is to make this body up at a specific time of the day. And the more this time is stabilized, the better it is for our chanting. And the more this time is unstable, sometimes I'm starting my chanting around 4:30, sometimes 5:30, sometimes 6:30, sometimes 3 o'clock. The more unstable my chanting would be. So ensuring that the body is prepared to get up at a certain time, the closer it is to Brahmurta, the more helpful it is. The other thing about preparing the body is that we have to choose a clean place and if possible, take the bath. If it's possible, then it's very good. So I'm staying in a very cold place, so it's an austerity to take a bath in the morning. But uh, it's the price we pay for a good quality job. So it's very basic to take a bath, but I think it's very important. It's very crucial to let the ignorance go off with the purity of the water and the purity of mantras that you chant. So, so taking a bath at the right time, specific time every day with consistency has a huge impact in preparing this book. And then finding a clean space for chanting your japa. So yes, I can chant my japa on my bed. I can chant my japa in any corner of my room, but to have a clean space for my chanting my japa is one of the most basic things that have a very, very big impact in the quality of the japa. And then the final aspect of preparing the body and then chanting is to prepare my tongue to chant and to chant in a very distinct way. So I've realized that in this body level of chanting, just the recitation of mantra, the pronunciation of mantra, how distinctly we chant all the letters of the mantra makes a huge impact. I've seen many devotees who have gone slower in their chanting over a period of time. And it's very interesting that I observed that many senior devotees have gone more clear and slower over a period of time. And of course, some have gone faster also. There's nothing wrong with going fast as long as you can hear. But over a period of time, you realize that if, let's say, someone hands over the most relishable dish to you, the last thing you want to do with that dish is to just finish it up quickly. So preparing the body also means to chant distinctly and use the tongue properly and just pronounce these words in a very crystal clear way. So that is the first level that is very easy. I mean, not so difficult. It's still easy for us to do. And many of us have heard this, but I've realized that sometimes we take these things for granted and that affects the quality of japa. So that's the basics, preparing the body. Then you prepare the mind. And what is preparing the mind and doing a good level of chanting at the level of mind is basically just getting out of distractions. So I've realized that when I take a commitment not to look at my mobile or to not to look at anything important officially, till the time I commit to and I finish a certain rounds of japa, then that leads to a lot of comfort and good quality in chanting. So we have to commit. Its mind is something that will only be controlled by practice. So we have to commit that before I start my rounds, how many rounds I have to do without even looking at anything else in the world. So whether whether it takes time to understand or someone understands quickly, we have to realize that the success of our every endeavor in spiritual life depends on the quality of Japa. No matter what great, you know, teaching we may do, temples we may build, various things we may do, but if the foundation of a building is not strong, no matter how many floors you build, they're going to collapse someday. So at the level of mind, we need to understand that yes, there are many important matters that need to be captured. And the minute we'll get up, the world will, you know, will swarm us with so many important things to do. But I have to really tell my mind, I have to tell myself that I must do these specific rounds, and if possible, 16 rounds before looking at the world and what's happening around it. So I was hearing from a devotee, a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, how Maharaj never leaves the room until he finishes his rounds, and nothing starts before the rounds are finished. And this is a practice of many good devotees, that they ensure that they don't take up any other multitasking, any other services while the chanting is going. And then as far as the mind is concerned, one of the things to do in chanting, which we have heard a million times, and I'm going to repeat this a million extra times, is to hear what you say. And over a period of time, I've realized the depth of this instruction that Srila Prabhupada gives many times. Hear your rounds, hear your mantra. There's a very senior devotee who wrote in who said in one of his lectures that after having spent 5 years chanting, he was a very senior devotee.
1200 টাকা
He went to Japan. He went to Japan once for a preaching trip, and in Japan he heard the holy name once, and that statement of his was very shocking to me. I could not even fathom initially what it meant, that after 5 years of chanting as a Prabhupada disciple in Japan, he went, and that's where he said that I heard the holy name the first time. That's the day I started meditating on this idea of what is hearing the holy name. So I have realized that many times we are hearing, but we are very passively hearing. But if you really hear the holy name, there is no space to think about anything else. If I'm able to think about anything else while I'm chanting, the only reason why it's happening is because I'm not hearing. Because mind is not so capable of hearing properly and thinking something else. I mean, just if you do it right now, I would just chant one mantra, and you can try to hear it, and then try to see if there's any scope for thinking anything else. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You realize there's no space for thinking if you're hearing. So at the level of mind, what we have to specialize is to hear. Same old advice, but repeated again and again. So I have realized that over a period of time, when you absorb these words very clearly, it's literally like, it's like relishing a beautiful dish probably. When you don't hear, you don't relish it. It just happen, it goes, the japa is done, and you don't even realize if you've taken anything, you've eaten anything. So what I mean to say is that we need to really ask ourselves, when I chanted this mantra, did I hear it? And trust me, there is huge layers of hearing. There are many layers of hearing. And we have to understand which layer of hearing am I. And if you're doing really good hearing, we're not capable to think anything alongside. It's not possible. So one of the things we can do is that we can at least commit that out of my 16 rounds minimum, I can at least commit that I will chant X number of rounds while hearing properly. And if I want to be really, strict with myself, maybe you can repeat the number of mantras you don't hear properly. So you can do this exercise. I've done it several times. It's a very humbling exercise. That take one round and then chant the mantras and repeat. Each time you feel that you've not heard properly, just repeat the mantra. And then we'll see our round is not getting completed in 7, 8, 9 minutes. It's taking maybe 10 minutes, some maybe 12 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, maybe more than that. So if you take the austerity of just one round chanting with this idea that I will only move my beats, if I've heard that mantra properly, then we'll know how many rounds, how many beats do we actually hear. How much time does it take to complete one such round? So the point is that hearing is a practice, just like listening is a practice. And And we need at this level of mind to hear properly. And there needs to be some commitment. We can put up some principles, some goal around it, that at least these many rounds I will hear and I will not move my bead ahead unless I hear. So that's the level of mind. And then finally comes the gate of the altar, or the gate of the soul, or the level of the soul. So the interesting thing about the gate of the altar is you cannot open it. The other two you could open it, but the third one I cannot open. It's only the pujari inside who can open it, or the Lord Himself can inspire the pujari to open it. So the third level of chanting, the level of soul, is really the level of chanting before this all preparation. So what is this level of chanting? This level of chanting is to be connected with Krishna while we are chanting. And this is where the taste of chanting comes. This is where the relishment grows and grows to the extent that a devotee does not want to stop chanting. So how do we reach the level of soul? First of all, we cannot reach. It's up to Krishna to take us to the level, to give us that relishment, that taste of chanting. So how can we prepare to get eligible to receive that mercy from Lord and Guru, to prepare and chant at the level of soul, chant at the level of heart. So basically, chanting at this level requires one to have a lot of prayerful mood. And this is the level where we're not just trying to focus attentively on the holy name. We're also trying to meditate on the depth of the holy name, the meaning of the holy name, what it means to me. And sometimes when we disconnect ourselves with the meaning of the holy name while we are chanting of the holy name, then that really puts us down in the quality of our chanting. So an expert chanter, while he is hearing, can also connect with the meaning of the holy name very deeply. So that is the level of not just attention but absorption. So at the second level, you are just attentive about chanting, but the third level, you're absorbed. But the only possibility why I can be absorbed in the holy name is I connect with it emotionally. I connect with it in a very, very intimate way, in a very personal way. So at the third level, it's very important that we remind ourselves again and again and again, and especially before chanting every round, what am I chanting for? Why am I doing what I'm doing? If as a devotee, I don't remind myself of the purpose of my chanting, then it will be very difficult to chant at the level of heart. So what is the purpose of chanting? Of course, the ultimate purpose is to come closer to Krishna and to purify ourselves with the medium of holy name. But at different times and different situations, devotees with the kind of mood they have, they will play differently. So one of the best ways to attain a very proper mood of chanting is to keep the Vaishnava songbook while we are chanting. So it's a very simple advice and very transformative, that if you keep two things with you, your bead bag and a Vaishnava songbook with you, it's not it is going to be very easy for us to pass through 16 rounds with a lot of love for Krishna. Because these Vaishnava songbook, the songs therein, if you just read them for 5 minutes and then chant for 10 minutes, and you will see a vast amount of difference in your level of chanting. So we have to get a prayerful mood. How do we get a prayerful mood? We have to prepare and be prayerful before we start chanting. We have to be prayerful after we finish a round. We have to be prayerful while we are chanting. So for that, we have to, maybe read something before we chant and after we chant, so that we are always connected with this spiritual intelligence. That's one way. Second way is we have to have a cause of chanting. So His Grace Mahatma Prabhu puts it very beautifully, that we are we are very profit oriented as conditioned beings. We want a profit in everything. So if you put and you can spiritualize this tendency of ours. If you put a cause behind why you are chanting, then definitely you will chant and chant better. So sometimes devotees chant and they become so causeless, not in the sense that you hear it usually, but causeless means just the purpose of chanting is lost while you are chanting. That's also a good state if I'm chanting at a pure level, because then it's just the holy name and I can absorb myself. But at our level, it's good if we know the cause of chanting. We have a cause of chanting. So what could be a cause of chanting? For someone, maybe it's a prayer to be purified. That Krishna, I want to be purified and I want to come closer to you, and I cannot do it myself. So maybe that's my cause of chanting this song. For some, maybe he's been given some service by his Guru Maharaj, by some senior authority, and he's unable to do it. And out of helplessness, he's chanting. For some people, it could be, I don't feel that connection with Krishna, and I'm crying out for that connection with Krishna, and I'm chanting. For some, maybe it's a great material impediment in my life, and I want to rise above it and come closer to the lotus feet of Krishna, and I'm chanting. So there's always something, some reason why I'm chanting. And if I have that reason for chanting, then I'll be very, very connected to my chanting. And Prabhupada gave a very, very simple cause of chanting for all of us. Let's pray to Shri Radha Shyam Sundar that we can chant for us to be qualified to attain their service. So at this stage, of course, we are doing various kinds of devotional services, but there is still so much of devotion we need to have in our services. So real bhakti starts when we have gotten out of all our reactions and aparads and everything. So Prabhupada says that please pray to Srimati Radharani to give us some service to the lotus feet of Krishna. So that is our ultimate cause. So we engage in their service with our entire heart, body, mind, everything. So it's a very personal thing what you pray for, but I think this is it. We have to ultimately understand that as soon as I say the word Krishna, Krishna is there. As soon as I say the word Hare, Srimati Radharani is there. They are there, both are there. And if they are there, they're eager to hear what do I want to say to them. So when we say prayerful chanting, we have to realize that the name of Krishna and Krishna himself are not different. He's there. And the day we realize he's there, he's in front of me, he's listening, just like your child may be listening while you're chanting, your husband may be listening while you're chanting, your elders may be listening while you're chanting, he's there listening while you're chanting. That realization is going to change everything about our chanting. Because that's going to make us attentive, that's going to make us absorbed, it's going to make us feel so much in love. So a time will come, we may, with the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, realize that he's there with us and he's there in his name. But at least even theoretically, if we understand this right now, it's going to really purify us. That like a blind man cannot see who's in front of him, but by the intelligence, he understands that there is someone in front of him. Same way, we are spiritually blind at the moment, but we understand the power of Shastras that Krishna is there when we chant his name. So these are the three things that I personally, come back to almost like literally every day. And I ask myself, where am I going wrong? Am I going wrong in terms of preparing myself? Am I preparing my body? Am I going wrong in terms of putting my mind to chanting? Am I going wrong in terms of putting my heart to chanting? And it's a constant struggle. But the beauty of this struggle is that it's better than the struggle of the material world. So it's better than struggling for everything else in this material world. Let's struggle for chanting. And maybe that's going to end all our struggles. So thank you, Mataji. I think it's about time. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and helping me remember what all I have to do in my chanting.
Thank you so much, Roji. That was very interesting. I especially resonated.
Mataji, we cannot hear you, I think.
We can hear.
You can. I have unmuted myself.
Yes, Mataji, we can hear.
Yeah, it's
we
good.
can hear you, Mataji.
Okay, thank you. So I was saying I was really thanking you, and I was saying that I especially resonated with the point of going back to the Vaishnava songbook. That's so powerful. Thank you very much, and also the 3 levels that you mentioned, kind of a reminder for us every single day to pass through 3 levels and keep a check on ourselves. Thank you. I would like to ask if anybody has any questions. Prabhuji is available for some more few more minutes to answer those questions. Please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So one question, Prabhuji, you said while chanting we should be
only chanting. So like while chanting, we put the mantra and watch the photos which are coming, maybe different photos which are uploaded in the chanting mala bhav. So we keep on observing that photos, or maybe sometime we go to net and put darshan of Vrindavan or that. So that is going on. So we should avoid that, and we should just keep our eyes closed and chanting, or that can be done.
It's a very practical question. We all struggle to find ways to chant nicely, so we find different aids to chanting. So I think the principle is yena kena prakare. You have to see what works for you. The outcome is you should chant attentively, and you should chant with absorption. If seeing the darshan of Lord gives you good understanding of chanting, please go ahead. In fact, I remember there's a very senior sannyasi who at some point in time would chant in the altar, like, he would chant with Nityananda for some time, looking at Nityananda, chant Chaitanya, looking at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then Radha Shyam Sundar, and then so on. So yeah, I think there's no problem if you look at the beautiful form of lordships and then chant. The only thing is that it should not be so much unstable. I mean, you can just fix anything before you start chanting and let it be fixed, whatever it is. You can keep a picture of lordships in front of you, lamination, or if you have deities, you can chant in front of deities. But too much of dabbling and navigating and finding the best picture, finding the best thing in the morning is not a good thing. So in a very peaceful way, if you can find something to get inspired from, why not? Again, you have to see. You know your heart. Are you disturbed with what you're doing while chanting, or you're getting more attentive? That test we only can do best.
Thank you.
Rashmi Mataji had a question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, there are 3 stages of chanting, right? Out of which third stage is the offenseless stage, and it is said one enters into the kingdom of God, though they are present, physically present in the material world. Have you experienced this, Prabhu? Like, can you, throw a little bit light on this?
No, I have not experienced it. And if you all will pray for me, maybe I'll experience it someday. But we hear of experiences of those who have experienced it. It's just very simple. You are in a physical realm right now. We are in a material reality. And this place called Shivandavan Dham is not just a physical space. It's a reality. It's basically a space that is not limited to the 3D dimensions that we are very familiar with. So as soon as someone chants the holy name purely, and the entire world, spiritual world, manifests, and there's no gap in which the world you are in and the world that exists there. So a very good example is from the life of Acharyas. Raghunath Das Goswami, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, when he was chanting and he was meditating on the form of Shri Radha Shyam Sundar and serving them, he would offer a bowl of kheer to them. So, and then once he gets the prasad, and he would otherwise not eat anything, would hardly eat anything. But when he gets the prasad of his kheer in the spiritual reality and he would eat it, it turns out that he ended up having some stomach issues. The doctor said, I think you've eaten a lot of kheer, and entire Vrindavan knew, entire Govardhan knew that this devotee does not eat anything. So how did it happen? Because you transcend the material reality and go into the spiritual reality via the power of the Holy Name. So yes, if this is what you aspire for, it's a beautiful aspiration that someday as I chant, I will be transported into the pastimes of Shri Radha Shyam Sundar. And to be very honest, even at this level, we can experience some of it. You can experience some of it to the extent that you can experience the presence of Krishna if you're chanting nicely. You can experience reciprocations of Krishna even when you're chanting nicely. So yeah, this is what happens. You get transported. You're there. You're not here when you're chanting purely, and that's why pure devotees, they don't want to stop chanting. If you can situate yourself in the most relishable pastimes of lordships, and all that it takes is a ticket of chanting, then why would you stop chanting? You just chant the entire day. You don't want anything else. Just chant and chant and chant. So this is what happens. I'm not there yet, but seeking everyone's prayers to go a little step closer towards that direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
If anybody else,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I would like to ask one question. Like, how would be consistent? Morning time, like taking bath on time, and it's like sometime I wake up 5:30, sometimes 6. So it's not consistent. So what's the ways? How I will consistent?
It's a very difficult subject, honestly. Many of us struggle with getting up timely. It's a very big struggle. I think the best way for us to get up timely is to be very realistic about our situation, our body, our health, our situation, everything that you are going through. And then you fix a time which is neither too lenient on you, but not too ambitious as well that you cannot maintain it every day. So first is to find what is that time which is neither too lenient for me to get up at or not too ambitious for me to get up. And then just fix it. And once I be realistic about that time, it'll be a matter of practice. Some days I'll get up on time, some days I'll not, but at least I should fix a goal. The problem is if I don't have a goal, what will I chase? So we need to see based on our conditions, what is that time of chanting? What is the time of getting up I can fix properly? The other thing is, if it's possible, please find some association to get up with. So like we are chanting together, there can be a possibility of finding some devotees to wake us up as well. So if you have 2-3 devotees who would like to commit together to getting up at the same time, they can wake each other up. So you can do that practical thing as well. And thirdly, I think getting out of any, winning over the material senses is a matter of prayers and mercy of God. Any kind of sense control, I've realized over a period of time, needs mercy of the Lord. It's not easy for us to control any of our senses on our own. So we have to pray to Prabhupada, we have to pray to our Vaishnavas and Lordships to help us be very strict with our senses. So these are some practical things that we can experiment.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
anybody else, if you have a question, I think all of us feel nourished. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for taking your time out. We all hope to, with guidance and with association, we all hope to progress as well. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Very grateful to be here again. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.